Okay, so a lot of people have asked me about the setup I have for my Insta360 camera with this brace right here to keep it from moving backwards. I originally had this camera set up on this, and this is located on my back seat, but you see here we have plastic on plastic, and it's a really good brace, but it was on this bar, this part of the bar here that was loose, and not loose, but I mean smooth. And so plastic on plastic normally doesn't equate to a really strong bond, especially when you have the weight of this going all the way up there. This is about 30 some odd inches. I measured how far it has to be for me for it to be over my head. And then I cut a piece of string and I keep it in that bag right there. And then I just bring out the string. I don't have to measure it every time. I just extend the string and I know how far I have to go. So, but the problem is that with this one, is that with the weight of this, when I'd go over bumpy roads and whatnot, is that it would tilt. I actually found on one of my first test rides that it had fallen down almost to the point where one of these lenses right here, sorry for the focus, was almost hitting the ground, which would have been horrible because then it would have scratched and then it wouldn't have been useful anymore. So I tried a couple of things. The first thing I did is I bought what I thought was a better bracket. It's metal, and so you have metal on, hopefully metal, but this was still too smooth. It still shifted. And I wish that this didn't have this. I wish it actually had these here that you could screw really super tight, and then it would move and people couldn't take it off. But I couldn't find a metal one that was like that, so I got this one metal on metal. It extends out, then it has this adapter here, which connects to the selfie stick, which connects to the camera. But even with this, on this, it slipped down. And even this, on this is a batter's tape from baseball, from a baseball bat for grip. Even this slid down. So in the short term, what I did is I actually put this and flipped it this way, so it was in here, resting on the seat. And then I zip tied it tight so people couldn't take it without trying hard. But the problem is, with a camera like this, the 360 camera, around these edges, where it is curved here, it'll have first it'll stitch together the footage from this lens and this lens and stitch it together so it's one image, which is good. You want that. The downside is that around these edges here, around these curved edges there, it will have some artifacts of like circular artifacts where the image kind of compresses and kind of falls in on itself. It's kind of a problem unless with these 360 cameras, if you zoom in, so you have these artifacts where the image kind of curves, and if you zoom in just a little bit, then those images go away, those artifacts go away for the most part, and then you can see the ride as if you were sitting on the back of the bike, which is, I asked my wife if she liked that, or if she liked, I did a test where I had the GoPro on the handlebars, and she thought it was more enjoyable and you could see more if it were here. And I always like videos where people are going to places I've never seen before, and traveling, and I get to see a city I've never seen before. And I know that some people do like the GoPro camera that people would put on their dashboards or whatever, so I did get a GoPro to put here to include in the footage after about the third city I went to. But in the interim, I had this issue where the difference between this and this, if this were switched around and it were now sitting on my seat, is about 7 inches. And it pushes this lens 7 inches, which means that the artifacting around the edges is even more so. And so there wasn't a solution I could really come up with because it kept slipping no matter what I did. But I didn't like the images that I was getting from having to sit on the seat. So I had to come up with something. And so I came up with this. This is a piece of tin that I've also wrapped in baseball tape that extends, and it connects to two of the nuts that are in, or bolts I should say, that are in underneath the seat. So let's take a look at that. When I put this plate in, it was really hard to get this seat to lock. But to show you, I will unbutton this here. There we go. There we go. You can see that this item right here is actually connected by two bolts here that screw in to a set nut that's set into the metal. So what I did is I took a piece of cardboard, and I made a shape knowing that I was going to have to bend it over this lip here to get it out underneath here. The challenge then is I didn't also want it to bounce, so I put some padding in here. But, and then I covered the exterior with the same tape to try to give a little more grip if this is sitting on here. But I took these out, I created a cardboard version of this, and then I had some leftover tin that I cut this out, extended out. This is about 4 inches, I think. This whole thing here, from here to there, is about 4 inches, this tongue. And then it went into here. So then I took these off, I painted it black to keep it from rusting. Then I put these back on, bent this down to make sure it fit. And then I put some padding under there, as I mentioned. And then screwed these in, bent it again to make sure it was as level as possible. And then had to get the seat back on, which is a challenge, which I will now try to do again. Okay, that did not take too long. So this is how I have my Insta360 on here without sliding. If any of you guys are interested, you could do this. And as I mentioned, I also connect my GoPro here for handlebar view. My phone goes here. So if that's something you guys want to do, to create some footages of someone sitting behind you on your seat, that's the way to go. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you later. Bye.